probably a mystery, but at the same time, who knows? We could have been seeing a bunch. People saying time travel. People saying that scene where Ant-Man was like going to the Avengers building and looking up at the camera. That was probably in the past before Tony bought that building out and stuff. They think that maybe when he got out of the quantum realm, he might have jumped in the past first. And that was a recording from years ago. And he was the first person talking about, hey, Avengers, hey, why is it 1985 right now? What's going on? You know, and then he probably found his way back. Shit, for all we know, we might find, we could probably bump into an old...
I'm putting it on the table right now. I think this is going to be the best superhero movie of all time.
That's above The Dark Knight? Above Infinity?
Yes.
I'm
putting it on the table right now.
I think it's going to become the number 2 high grossing film of all time. John doesn't feel like it can reach 3 because he doesn't. I mean, the top
number 1.
It can top.
Number 1 is
20.
I think it's out of reach.
700.
Number 1 is.
But how did it make it though? Because people just kept going back to the movie.
About. See, it's a big possibility because even with myself, I've already got two tickets.
I'm not saying like fans like us. I mean like the reason why Titanic and Avatar did so well was because regular people just
kept on going.
But Avatar, I can understand Titanic because it was historical, it was a true story, and it was a great story that James Cameron told. So that movie started off. I think it debuted and made like 50 million the first week, and then it slowly just started.
But that was word of mouth. That was all word of mouth.
And the drop off from week 1 to week 2 wasn't happening. It was increasing audiences and repeat business, and people just kept. It was a love story. People could just keep going and seeing, and that sad shit at the end. That explains Titanic.
The actors too. Leonardo DiCaprio was a big name at that time.
That explains Titanic. How did Avatar do it though?
I think with Avatar,
because it was science fiction.
It was science fiction,
but that worked in its benefit.
Yes,
but it wasn't. It was. Even James Cameron admitted it was. It was Dancing. What's that movie he did? Was it Dances with Wolves? It was Dances with Wolves in space.
It's Dancing with the Wolves, Pocahontas
in space. Yeah, it was the exact same. So you got a story that's been told before. It's science fiction. Not everybody likes 3D, and it was a 3D thing that jumped the sales up because there was a lot more 3D screenings back then too. Okay, but
and then
the repeat business.
I think it was word of mouth again.
It was that good.
Yeah, it was that good. Go and see it.
But I guarantee
if you could look up what year that came out and see if it came.
It was 2009.
2009. What year did Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park, come out?
Jurassic Park had that same energy behind it, but that repeat business didn't. And this
and the reason why
and then that was back when it was. I
want to say Jurassic Park was the 90s.
Jurassic Park. The first Jurassic Park came out like 93 or 92 or 94 because it was a step up in the
93.
Yeah, and
I think it was the special effects of
it never looked that real before
exactly.
Ever. And they even delayed bringing it out on on tape for a while because they thought it was too much for home.
Wow.
So the build up to watch it at home was so great and significant too. How much money did that movie make though? I should Wikipedia it. But it still throws me off. Okay, so it's in the 90s. Budget wise, where's that budget at? Damn it, where is it? Jurassic Park. So 400 pages.
That's the book. If you want to go to Box Office Mojo, usually they'll tell you the budget and how much it made gross.
63 million budget, $1 billion. That's the kind of return you want.
Yeah.
It was like one of the first movies, like one of the only group of movies that hit $1 billion back then.
And then that name too.
Jurassic Park was.
I'm talking about with Avatar, the director.
James Cameron. Yeah, he did. Yeah, because they didn't expect it. They didn't expect it to happen with Titanic, and he put that much energy into Avatar as well, and it paid off. But he didn't strike while the iron was hot on the sequels. And stuff. But But
I don't even think it's going. If he comes out with a sequel, I don't think it's going to make that much. It's
going
to make money.
It's going to make $1 billion. It's going to make $1 billion. I think it will make $1 billion, but I don't think it's going to still. It's never going to come close. It won't make more than Titanic. It won't even. I don't even think it'll be in the top 5 right now. Mm-hmm. I don't think Avatar 2 will come close to that, because now that all these other movies are making billions of dollars. Was it top grossing movies? Highest grossing films of all time. It'll probably make $1 billion, but that's it. And because now the stakes have been raised so much, that's it. That's why are these? Is this an old? Is this inflation? What the fuck is this?
you know you ain't looking at the right number. You see the Sound of Music.
Yeah, Sound of Music. yeah. After people have bought the tape so many years, the Sound of Music is gonna be up there. Like technically, then they say that technically the Wizard of Oz is the #1 movie or something like that because of how many people have bought it and rewatched.
I love the Wizard of Oz.
That's just like saying the Bible is the #1 seller. Yeah, of course. Yeah. You got all these damn churches and stuff. If people buy and hotels buy Bibles like nothing, that's never gonna stop being the #1 selling book. But highest grossing what films of all time. Wow. What is this list? Here are the 20 highest grossing films of all time. Okay. It's still Avatar. 20. Okay, so all right, from number 20. So you got to look at your top 5. Top 10 pretty much. Number 10 still Harry Potter, The Potter Deadly Hallows Part 2. Black Panther. And it's what, $1 billion?
Yep.
Everybody that's in the top 10 is $1 billion. Mm-hmm. Everybody's in $1 billion category. So even when you see the difference between Black Panther and Harry Potter is like what? $1 million. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. There's only $1 million difference right there between and then there's only $5 million difference, $6 million difference between Age of Ultron and Black Panther.
And you know what? Age of Ultron, they trick people. Because that wasn't one of the best Avengers movies.
Because it was coming off of what's it called, and the advertisement was so good. So that's my point of you talked about Jurassic Park and the build up or Avatar and from the build up of James Cameron making his big movie after his last big movie. Nobody expected. It was
such a switch up too from Titanic.
Titanic to this.
Yeah.
And James Cameron going underwater and doing all that stuff, and he's like, James Cameron's doing some weird stuff. So we bet against him before. He made the highest grossing film of all time. Then he did it again. So nobody's ever gonna doubt James Cameron ever again. Not even with Avatar 2. I don't doubt he'll hit $1 billion. I don't think he's gonna top Avatar 1 or Titanic because he's gotta surpass Fast and Furious 7, Avengers. Wait, how was Fast and Furious 7 at? Oh, it's at 152. This was also at 152. So Avengers
probably just beat him just a little bit.
That a nudge. Jurassic World, which was a breakout out of nowhere, nobody expected that. And that was 2018. 1.6 billion. And then Avengers Infinity War hit $2 billion.
And this is why
that's the top 5. The top 5 alone, you can't really. It's hard to break into that. It probably will break into the top 10 of Avatar 2. Mm-hmm. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna. It definitely won't get here to Avengers Infinity War.
This is a whole new generation that has to
kids who never saw Avengers. Avatar, and us people who did see Avatar. We got over it. Like somebody said, look at all the people who after Avatar came out. Look at all the people dressed up like Na'vi during Halloween that year. Mm-hmm. Now, how many people dressed up as Na'vi the year after, and then the year after that, and then the year after that, and then it's been what 9? It's been 10 years. Nobody can. Exactly.
They really gonna have to do some.
Yeah. So you telling me after 10 years of people not giving a shit, it's gonna make $2 billion? No way. Star Wars, $2 billion, another phenomenon.
And then you have Episode 9 coming out. That's gonna make 9
after the controversy, and it depends on how the trailers are starting to come out, and people are happy with it. It might break the top 5 because number 5 is just 1.6 mil. But I don't think it's gonna beat Force Awakens. Because Force Awakens was like, oh my God, we're happy that this is all happening. That was a phenomenon.
Comeback. I mean, you brought the original people back.
Yeah, that was a phenomenon on its own. So for it to hit number 3 under Titanic and Avatar technically means it's number 1 because these were number 1 and number 2 were freaking what's the word? Not phenoms or not outliers, but just. These were just what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Like it was. He's not outlier, but wait, 2.1 bill, 2.0. It almost Star Wars Force Awakens almost beat Titanic.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It came close.
If Titanic is at 2.1 billion or almost at 2.2 billion, I think Endgame will beat Titanic.
I've been hearing people
say easily.
I've been hearing people saying $3 billion, and I think that's impossible.
That's the $3 billion is the only way. Well, $3 billion beats.
It'll be the number one.
I think it's impossible.
I think it's impossible for one thing. The runtime of the movie.
The runtime because people aren't going to want to sit down for 3 hours again. Mm-hmm. People sat down. People sat down for 2 hours again for Avatar.
It depends on how good.
I feel like if a big enough camp, because everything comes down to this movie, right? Everything that's been done. I think if that energy still stays up there, 2.7 bill. It's possible, but it's just not likely, especially after all the spoilers that are coming out, and that wasn't happening with Avatar. No. Well, there was nothing really.
There was no social media.
It wasn't. It was 2009, so Twitter and all that stuff was not. It was there. It just wasn't
popping like that.
Facebook was, but 2009. Yeah. Vin Diesel, remember almost 1 billion followers. Yeah, Facebook was the Social Network came out in 2000. The movie The Social Network. Social Network.
Yeah. I think you're right because I remember in 2000 I was on.
No, Facebook has been around for a long time. The Social Network came out in 2010 to talk about Facebook, and people were Facebooking each other back then like that.
But it's nothing like it is now.
It's nothing like it is now. Right? Ever since 2015, Twitter and all that stuff became a whole different beast. It all depends on the repeat business. Mm-hmm. It all depends on
if the movie's good or not.
Good.
Yeah.
Stan Lee's death helps it too. Will it? With the final cameo?
His final cameo.
Yeah.
It's got the recipe.
Beat Titanic. It's got the momentum. It's got the recipe. It's got the tools. It's got the talent. It's just that people were buying a bunch of 3D tickets for that Avatar movie, and that's what helped boost those sales. I think if you take away the 3D ticket sales from this, and if those were just regular seats, I think Avatar is under Titanic. Yeah, I think honestly, Avatar should be number 4, and whatnot. But it was such a. But look, they pushed it for 3D.
Look at the CGI of what they was doing.
Yeah, it was a perfect. That's why it was perfectly marketed for 3D. And people, and I'm not even gonna lie, I saw it in 3D.
You did?
And I thought that the way they did it was almost the only option.
Yeah.
That was another thing. That's why I feel like that 2.7 is an outlier because it was almost the only way to see that movie at the time. And then people kind of complained. It was like, this is not necessary. You're forcing it on us. And then they dialed it down. You put as many 3D screens on The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens is the number 1 movie of all time. That's $3 billion. If all of that would have been 3D as much as it was for Avatar, that's $3 billion right there. That should have made $3 billion. Endgame, $3 billion. Infinity War probably would have been $3 billion. It's the only thing that explains why Avatar is so close to $3 billion is all those 3D screens. But there's not that many 3D. Now it's Dolby Digital and IMAX and stuff. But I don't know. And Avatar 2 is going to be in the top 10. It will not break the top 5. It won't. No way near. I bet money that it would not.
Nah.
I think
it's just too long.
There's so many things working against it. The fact that 3D thing alone for Endgame to crack the $3 billion, the will of the people, if we all get together and all promise to, if everybody in America, if every adult in every major country buys a ticket, this movie can make $10 billion. There's like how many adults are there on the planet that have screens and movie screens and whatnot? If every adult or every person capable of buying a movie ticket were to buy a movie ticket, this movie makes $10 billion.